Hello and welcome to Beat 'em Up Wrestling. Today we have a special guest, JR, also known as the All Elite Professor.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
we're we're going to be talking AEW Dynamite today, as we usually do on Wednesdays, but today they did it on Thursday. So
Yeah, I forgot it wasn't Wednesday.
yeah,
For like 2 seconds, I was like, wait, what day is it?
we've had wrestling every day of the week this week. It's crazy. Maybe they should move permanently to Thursday.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
how I felt about that. What happened?
I said either that AEW on Thursday or NXT to Tuesday.
But we have Impact Tuesday. Don't do that to Impact.
No, that's true. I don't want to mess with Impact. They got a good thing going.
Yeah. So let's jump in. We start off with the tag team gauntlet, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson versus the Nightmare Family, Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall with Allie. We didn't see Brandy today.
Brandy was missing from the fray. So, yeah, I don't know. It started off a little slow. There was a couple of little missteps. I don't know. It wasn't as pumped up as the last Dynamites were when they first started. So, but I mean, they get into it after this one. That's how I felt about this first bout. I don't know about you, Jay. What'd you think?
Well, Brandy was definitely not there. She was selling the vicious assault by Anna Jay, as the commentators mentioned. It definitely did start off slow, but that is basically the style of the National Nightmares of QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes. So I think the Young Bucks slowed down because of that. But it definitely picked up after the National Nightmares were eliminated and Best Friends came out.
Shout out to Trent's gear. I don't know why. It just looked good today. It just popped for me. Hey.
Yep. Shout out to Neil Lara, who says hello.
Hey. But yeah, I just thought it took off after this. Yeah, a lot of dramatic started to coming into play here. You could see the storytelling started to unfold. This started feeling like the precursor to All Out, things like that. You know what I mean? Just like the energy changed, it shifted. Yeah, I like the Best Friends. This was a really, really good. Hey. But yeah, this was definitely what I wanted. Maybe if I don't know if they would have switched it around. I don't know how I feel about QT and Dustin being in the main. I mean, I would have liked to see maybe another tag team instead.
Yeah, Dustin was really smooth. I think QT for me was a little off today. I know he was getting better. I know that he had that injury thing that they did the whole vignette about. And prior to this match, he was getting a lot better. But I think today he just couldn't keep up with what Dustin and the Young Bucks were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I didn't know, the reason I didn't pay attention to this going into it, but these are the top 4 teams based on the rankings. I do agree they came out. It was definitely weird because you had both the Young Bucks and FTR, and we all know that they're not trying to schedule them two together. So it was kind of like, how is this going to work out? And then also with the Natural Nightmares, it just, I don't know. I thought maybe Private Party or Dark Order would have been maybe a better fit, but obviously, for other reasons, they chose these 4 teams based on the rankings 1 through 4.
Yeah. And I guess if we would probably be bad if they go against rankings, because that's the whole purpose of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know how I feel some sort of way about the different tag teams. Lucha Bros. Okay, that's how I feel about them. I love them a lot. So, but I thought it was okay. It built up all the way up to.
Yep. So we I know you mentioned the Best Friends. I think this was the best match of the gauntlet. The Young Bucks versus the Best Friends. And it did build up to Hangman costing the Young Bucks the match. He held, I believe it was Nick's foot, and prevented them from doing the Meltzer driver. And Trent was able to do the roll up and win with the most devastating move of all professional wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I felt about it. It was just one of those things where you knew it was coming. It was coming down the pipeline. Hangman looked like he hadn't slept for days. Like he's been contemplating this since last week or the week before. I don't know. It was funny. Like he looked like he had bags under his eyes. Like he hasn't been, feeling too good about himself. And it was kind of sad. It was a little disheartening to see everything happen.
Yeah. They've been playing on this for a while now. The whole Hangman didn't feel like he was actually a part of the Elite. He's been trying to leave the Elite for the longest. If they would have just listened to him before, he was done with them. And I guess this is the clearest way to let them know.
Yeah. Jerry, you still there? Did you freeze up on us? I think you froze up on us. Want to just keep going?
Yeah. If he comes back in, we'll let him back in.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah. So then we get FTR, Dash Harwood, and Cash Wheeler with Tully Blanchard.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just came out and they really looked like a heel team here.
Yeah, definitely.
They just came out brute force. They did quick work of the best friends in this one. And yeah, like you said, it's setting up for it's setting up for the FTR versus the Young Bucks.
So much guilt, Beth. Hi. But yeah, it was it was kind of heartbreaking to watch it, but I mean, clear lines were divided. He's been saying it for weeks. He's been saying it for months that he feels left out and this is what he wanted, but it was ugly. It almost feels like one of those impulsive things. Like you just rather pull the Band-Aid off and you finally just got tired of it and he just did it. But he's going to become a star. He's not going to need them. He's not a jobber. He's more than just this. He's not going to need them as a platform. He's going to go on to be what we would have thought would have been the huge Adam Page back in the beginning with Chris Jericho. But it's going to come full circle for him. He's going to be a star, definitely.
Yeah. I wonder what Kenny Omega is thinking. We didn't get to see Kenny Omega today.
Kenny Omega was like, nah, man, you don't want me to kill people. Not today. Today's not the night for the cleaner. Why did he sound Mexican? The cleaner.
Because Kenny Omega is secretly Mexican.
All right. So we'll be getting next.
Yep. So then we get Lance Archer, Everybody Dies with Jake Roberts against Sean Maluta. And this is just Lance Archer torturing his opponent. He could have squashed them way early on.
I respected that he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I wasn't a fan of all this. I have to admit, like I said last time, until we saw him at Warrior Wrestling and the amazing stuff that he does and that we don't see yet in AEW. But yeah, you don't respect the whole Everybody Dies until you see them die in front of you, like the way he goes at people. But no, I want to see where this goes. But let me talk about, like, shout out to Nicole, man, from Down for the Count. We were talking about how Jake just looked tired. Like he didn't even wrestle. Like he didn't warm up, but he already looked winded. Like
wait, Jake?
When everybody came out, when Taz came out, when Brian Cage came out, when everybody after the match, after Jake Roberts completely match, he was like winded in his promo, and I'm like, I felt bad. This was not one of Jake's best promos. It was just like, it was not.
Yeah, I think the Florida heat was getting to him. He did kind of look like, I don't really want to be here.
No, he was.
Yeah. So Lance Archer, of course, wins, and then, like you said, we get the FTW Taz's team, Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, interrupting, saying that they're the ones that are going to win the Casino Battle Royale at All Out. I can't wait to see Brian Cage and Lance Archer on a one-on-one. I hope that happens.
Yes.
I don't even know if the ring will be able to hold them. These two guys, when we saw them at Warrior Wrestling,
they had Cobb. They had Jeff Cobb too. Like there was a lot of people. There was a lot of person.
But like we mentioned how Jeff Cobb looks really good in his matches, but at Warrior Wrestling, he was outshined by what Lance and Brian were doing. Like I don't think that AEW has put them in a position where they could shine and show what they can do. These guys are amazing. And like you said, you don't appreciate Lance Archer until you actually see him live. He's a beast, and he goes full, like you could tell he played football. Like they brought up, he was a quarterback.
That camera dude, man. If you had not moved fast enough, that guy totally got just clipped on the shoulder and went spinning. He was like, move out of the way. And he's still singing Everybody Dies and everything, But like, he's totally epic.
Cobb is epic.
There
But
was
Cage and
so
Lance
many
Archer.
flips. There was so many flips. There was so many clotheslines. There was so many suplexes. Like I'm surprised the ring, like you said, the ring held up. But yeah, shout out. We'll get into Warrior Wrestling after we're done. But yeah, it was hey, Julio. But Brian Cage, another person, like we said, I didn't appreciate him. I didn't know a lot of him. I saw spots, some highlights. A lot because of Flip being with him. I like Flip Gordon. But seeing him live changed my whole perspective. It's like I feel like we're getting a disservice with AEW with these two. They're not even getting it yet, and they've been here for a while. So sprinkles, yes, like Twilight. Anybody watches What We Do in the Shadows, the guy just
I agree with Beth. Like Brian Cage is a big guy that could do the high spots too, which is what surprises people when they actually see him. Don't just like I get you want to make them monsters, but let the monsters get some competitive matches in too.
Yeah.
you have been screaming.
We were there once.
Cobb and Kenta.
Right? Yeah, confetti, yes. But we're speaking about Brian. Shout out to Brian K. Morris from Nevermind Furthermore. Guys, he's an independent comic publisher. He basically showed us about this cool layout where we get to, basically interact with everybody that's watching us. So thanks to him, we're going live on these things and we get to talk to everybody. So shout out to you, Brian. Thank you so much for this. Yeah. Anyways, on to the next.
Yeah. So the next thing, I didn't put a ticker for it. We actually missed the very emo Darby Allin jumping off a bridge. Like, wait, you're trying to intimidate somebody. You're jumping off a bridge, bro.
We didn't miss it. My timeline didn't miss it because the minute I said that I was on Team Ricky Starks, I lost followers. And I'm like, ooh, okay, sorry, Darby fans. Sorry. I'm not saying I didn't like Darby. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he pretty much did exactly what Starks was making fun out of him about. Like he came out he came out super emo. Like I don't know. Like I get why these vignettes were a huge hit in the beginning, but I'm starting to kind of get over them. Like that's just me. I'm starting to like, okay, so you put on a face of somebody else. You've been doing this over and over, man. Like, and then when he came out, when Cage and Ricky Starks were out there and Lance Archer, I'm sorry. Like I usually don't talk about guys' sizes because I liked Rey Mysterio and he was the smallest guy, but he looked like he had no business in the ring with them. Like I did not feel intimidated by him.
No.
Like yeah, Ricky Starks lost his slip-ons, but yeah.
And it didn't even look like he actually got the full impact either.
No,
it was like okay. But anyways, we'll get. I'm gonna go back full circle on this part once we get to the next later on match. Go ahead. Next.
Yeah, it is up to 11.
Yeah, it's like
he needs to tone it back.
He's literally crying at 11. 10 was like you're about to like start screaming where you had the volume full max and you're just like you know what I mean? Now he's like oh, that's my song. Wake me up when September ends, y'all.
Yeah. So Santana and Ortiz cut a really badass promo today against the Best Friends, saying that they are sorry about Sue's van. They're sorry that Sue was not in the van when they did that. I'm like, man, dude, that's
we did
a
it
little harsh.
Wrong.
Yeah,
your mama should have been there.
Yeah, like. So then that opens up to the MJF and John Moxley contract signing. I like this part.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this goes back to having Mox really needing a crowd.
Welcome back, JR.
Man, I'm so sorry. StreamYard does not want to work with my iPhone, so I had to go find stuff. So
you're like technology.
Yeah, technology.
We're talking about the MJF John Moxley contract signing.
You know what? You could go ahead, take it away. Say something about that first. Go ahead.
I mean, honestly, for me, it was not very memorable. I mean, in my opinion, I think they should have gave the spotlight to the champion versus champion match at All Out. I just didn't feel like we've been getting the same type of thing as we did last week with the lawyer. So I think when we first started this MJF versus Moxley feud, it was hot. And I think as this continued to progress, they've made MJF like a weaker character. It's just I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I you know what? Thinking about it now, it does make MJF look a little whiny. It doesn't make him look as strong of a heel as he was But I think for Mox, having the crowd there and actually him being there and not just doing like pre-recorded videos, then not really being always in the arena, I think this is probably one of his strongest, back and forth confrontations. So like I'll give him that. But yeah, like I liked it, but at the same time, I felt like a lot of these promos could have been cut a little shorter, and maybe we could have gone in another women's match. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm the odd one out because I actually like this. I kind of sometimes like my little heels being, a little scared and being the chicken shit heel that they usually end up portraying themselves. But yeah, it was a little long-winded. I do agree with that. I think the whole thing was where MJF was trying to outsmart Moxley, but then at the end, the reveal is that Moxley actually outsmarted them, and I think that could have been done a lot faster. I do agree that it did go a little long, and it brings up another contract signing that did not get a spotlight and was put in a horrible room where there was a bathroom in the back where the door was open. Look, Thunder Rosa is a huge star. Like, she is the first Mexican-born NWA Women's Champion. She's been doing history everywhere she goes. You're bringing her in, and yeah, Beth agrees with the very cartoon villainish. But yeah, it's just I think that it's kind of disrespectful in a way. I'm pretty sure Thunder Rosa is very professional, so she's not going to say that this was disrespectful. But when the other contract signing was with FTR when they were doing that tag team appreciation, and they gave them this beautiful conference room inside the Jacksonville stadium, and you give the women, you're supposed to be bringing attention to the women because you're listening to us, you're listening to AEW heels, and you're realizing that people want more women's wrestling. But then you do this in this small, tiny little room with the bathroom door open. It was not inside the bathroom, but you could see the bathroom, and it just kind of
it looked like you have a work area. Like, let's just say we just saw a sink and there was a rug, but it could be a very fancy washroom. Like, as somebody that works in a upper, an institution that has higher ups, there's washrooms like that, right, Jack? That have carpets and stuff like that. But my thing is, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just that for me, you could have passed it off that it was live. Backstage live, we have Thunder Rosa and something stuff. It could have been pre-recorded, but once again, it feels like we have a pre-recorded vignette and they're making it that way. And they could have actually said it was live. We would have felt like we actually had more of a promotion for the women. It felt like it would have been more included in the segments that happened because the FTR thing felt more organic.
I got one better.
What?
Remember the contract signing for Fight for the Fallen or it was the Fyter Fest or Fight for the Fallen between Cody and Jake Hager? They had the whole dais, they had tables, they had media, and I mean, in my honest opinion, this should be considered one of the biggest women matches in wrestling. I mean, for at least a year. Yeah, dating back to, if you look at it, encompass, the grand scheme of things, you have the NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa, the AEW Women's Champion Shida. When is the last time you've seen a situation where we've had these champion versus champion type matches? And from my recollection, you really would have to, kind of go to back into like the WCW NWA days, or even before that, when it was like I remember they had like Bob Backlund versus Harley Race. And some people may say, well, it's not as big as that. Well, okay, I understand that, but that doesn't mean you can't make it as big as that. That doesn't mean it's how you show it, how you promote it. And by doing what they did, if they would have just taken that a different step and had it, even if it was pre-recorded, but if they would have done it in front of media or had a conference, then it would have made it, as Beth said, I see right here, is a big fight feel. Yeah. And that's how it should be treated as. I mean, it's a big deal that you have champion versus champion.
Yeah, it's a big deal when you have two promotions that are separate entities and they're both diverse women.
Yeah.
Like, that's even a huge thing. Like, they're not just the regular, which you would think run in the mill like champions. They're both diversity at its finest. Yep. They're coming together, you know what I mean? From different organizations to fight it out, to duke it out, because, as she just claimed, she wanted an open challenge, and here comes the best of the best, which she feels like it is, and here she comes, and Whatever, Ben. No, she could. She could totally. She could have. It's not even about maybe. She didn't even have to talk. She could have just hit Thunder Rosa.
Like
you don't even have to talk.
So the way that you make it seem like a big fight feel, you don't even have to have them talk. You present it like how JR was saying, where it's like a huge media thing. This is the first like the first big official thing where you're putting an NWA champion versus an AEW champion. You're like putting the spotlight on your women's division. So okay, so Shida is not that good with English, but you don't even need her to say too many words.
No.
All she has to do is just sign the contract, look tough, have some people behind her, have Billy Corgan and have Tony Khan involved in this. The way you present something is how the viewers are going to see it. So if you presented like something very special, like where you have Billy Corgan and Tony Khan even involved in this, people would have been like, "Oh my God, this is a big deal thing."
Yeah.
I mean, and to be honest, it happens all the time in UFC. I mean, UFC is a very diverse talent pool, and I remember Yoel Romero, who's a big Cuban guy. He has very bad broken English, and it happens. And you, like you said, you don't have to go through so many words. I do need to give credit though. The video package was pretty awesome though. The video package and them having the sound bites from Billy Corgan in it, so that was pretty awesome.
I did enjoy that too. Yeah, I really thought it was really cool to include him in that, having that little retrospect from Billy. And Shida does have emotions. She goes full Tifa from Final Fantasy when she gets fired up. She legitimately looks like a cosplay character on fire.
I think that the reason that some AEW fans feel this about Shida is a failure in AEW's part, because if you follow her on social media, she does videos. She presents herself like another part of her character that AEW is not highlighting. They did it really quick with Tony Schiavone and Cody before she became champion, and I think they failed to connect her with the audience in the way that they presented her.
Yeah, she's doing it now, but she's kind of getting cold. I mean, she was on the sideline for a couple of Dynamites, so I mean, in retrospect, she's only doing what she can. Yeah. That would have been interesting too, Thunder Rosa versus Nyla Rose. I mean, Thunder Rosa could have sold anything, just to be honest. She really could have. She would have made any star from AEW look like a star.
I kind of want her to win the belt.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got next?
So next we have the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix, with the Butcher and the Blade. They had Eddie Kingston come out with them versus Joey Janela, Sonny Kiss, Brian Pillman, and Griff Garrison. Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss got the jobber treatment.
Oh, they didn't come out to the ring with anything, right?
Yeah. Ever since they lost against Kenny and Hangman, their stock has dropped.
Because they lost against Hybrid Theory too, right?
Yep.
I think what really was started putting the nail in the coffin was they lost to Brody. Did they lose to Brody Lee and Cole Cabana?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's Gordon, right?
And so that kind of was kind of like, they got all this promotion hype. And I mean, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but the term bad romance that fans kind of rallied behind. Yeah. My buddy Mike was the one, like, because I was throwing out names, and I threw out Bad Kiss and he threw out Bad Romance. And like we were pushing it. And then finally I posted something to Sonny and Sonny retweeted it. And that's when the hashtag Bad Romance. So like we were behind it. And then the minute that came, basically this is kind of unfortunately a common thing where sometimes you see these things where they start pushing talent and all of a sudden they just hit a roadblock and then they start going down. And that's where it was like, it seemed like you were trying to do something with Janela and Sonny, and then they get to a point where, all right, we got them to like a mid at best, and now we're just going to use them as cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the bad thing about like what people meme about. It's the elite treatment. You're really picking up steam, and as soon as they put you against the elite and you lose against them, all the air goes out of your sails. Like we've seen that.
Well, and the other thing I'm not exactly sure about this is, I'm sure about one thing, but not the second part. The first thing is that they have a lot of talent that they're not utilizing. So I wonder, like with Janela and Sonny, they're like, well, let's put them together because that way we can use them as a tag team and then we can like kill two birds with one stone. But at the same time, though, everybody says their talent is they have a big talent roster, but then Tony Khan has gone on record to say that we're looking at bringing in more talent, and that's really not fair to like someone like Sonny and Joey, who they do have a fan following, a big fan following equally, and you use them in this position as a tag team cannon fodder. You know, if I hate to say this because I would never want anybody to lose a job, but like if you are not going to do something with them, then let them go off and do their thing on their own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to even say what Ben, me and Jack were talking about this earlier, I mean, like, and I'm not going to try to misquote Cody, but talking about mid-card belts and things like that. But you know what? You do need a card, you do need a belt for something, because if these guys are never going to be elevated to the point where they get like the TNT title or they get, the AEW title, then what is really the point? Because some of these people are not going to be elevated. Yeah. Like, I don't see it happening anytime soon. So having a mid-card belt, I hate saying mid-card because of like a cruiserweight belt or things like that, to me are like staples with other wrestlers where they came from. So I feel like that's still like a huge thing for certain wrestlers to have, because right now I feel like you said, if Sonny gets a solo run, it's like, what does he do? If Joey comes back and has a solo run, what does he do? What does the Lance Archers or anybody else do? Like, because not everybody can get the main belt.
Yeah, I think what they need to do is AEW Dark has lost a lot of viewers because it's so predictable. It's squash matches. So a lot of people are losing interest in it. What you do is Matt Cardona made famous the internet belt. You should have an internet belt for the AEW Dark and make that your mid-card belt and have that be something that they wrestle for. That's just my opinion.
It's on YouTube, so
yeah,
makes sense a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what they can do.
FTW is not an official belt.
Yeah, they didn't really say it was up for grabs.
No.
I think he'd kill somebody before he let it go up for grabs.
Yeah. Anything else on the Lucha Bros?
Just that they're AAA tag team champions, but nobody ever wants to say that.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston is amazing.
The only thing I would say is this is kind of unfortunately another situation where we have another faction and we don't know what they're going to do with them. Like we're getting this faction, and Eddie did cut that promo at the end, but it's like, okay, are we getting a faction, or we're just trying to build these guys up to make a run in the casino battle royale? Like that's the part that's kind of confusing.
Well. Yeah. If we know Eddie Kingston is not to be trusted, so he said it's not a faction. So I wonder what he's using them for. Maybe he's using them to win the Casino Battle Royale.
And don't forget to include that Brian Pillman is hella talented.
Yeah.
And Griff Garrison, he's trying to make his own character. He's doing his thing on the internet, doing his thing. So
I have to say it. Who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
He's doing his thing. I love him. His TikToks are funny.
Yeah.
He got moves. I will say that dude is talented.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's kind of like Silver. Like they're finding their way. Like Silver's in this promo, next thing coming up is the Dark Order. And Silver's amazingly funny. Like I just love this guy. I love the whole dynamic of the group. But once again, it's kind of like, what are they going to do with the rest of the Dark Order? You have another great tag team that's in there. And then, you have these characters that are just waiting to be elevated too. And you got Colt Cabana who thinks he's going to get the highlight. Like, hey, like I'm going to introduce our new member. And Colt's like, me? And he's like, no, not you. Her. And Colt's like, aw.
Colt was the new toy for a bit. And now he's kind of like just thrown in the back of the shelf. Like, I think the one thing that I also want to say about this is I actually forgot, so we can move on unless you guys have something else. No, it's okay. Yeah, so Silver is amazing. He grew so much on me. So we'll move on to the Dark Order celebration, which you brought up with. So they buried Cody. Cody is now dead. He is no longer the prince. There is a new king. This was good, but I think it also went a little too long. So they're out there celebrating. They bring a lot of the BTE segments into this, so I feel that if the people are not watching BT or not caught up to BT, they're not gonna know why the hell there's lawnmowers out there. Like it was just a lot of things where I was like, I don't know if a casual viewer is gonna pick up on this stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Jared.
I agree. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how many viewers of AEW Dynamite is also viewers of BTE and AEW Dark. So you have that insider following, like I started watching BT because of AEW, because I figured if you're not watching BTE and possibly Dark, you're gonna lose some traction of what's going on. And the biggest one in this Dark Order segment is the relationship between John Silver and Brody Lee. If you're not watching BTE to see how it got to that point, like, you're missing a whole lot of things. You would think that he's basically like he is a flunky, you could tell that, but you're not missing like what kind of led to that. There's a lot of that goes, and there's a lot that goes in the monster. Is for me, if it wasn't for and a little bit of Brody Lee, I would hate the Dark Order, especially like John Silver. The Dark Order, like, he started tactics, and I'm a little bit disappointed they didn't have Chili's there.
They should have celebrated with Chili's.
On a big chili spread. But no, you're completely right, because you wouldn't have understood why, he was so excited to say congratulations, Brody Lee, again, and then Brody Lee just like co-cocks him, you know what I mean? Because like he was legitimately over the top this like the last 2 weeks, just in general, and then it was horrible this past week. And then if you're not really following too much of TJ, then you wouldn't know that they kind of grew in their friendship, that they're kind of always sharing their stuff that's on social media too. So it's kind of like, we get that, but at the same time, I'm just like, hey, what happened to Diamante and Ivelisse? Yeah. And is it a contract or is that just a Dark Order contract?
I think that she's officially signed, right? Yeah, if you don't know about the Chili's money, you have no idea what's going on. Yep.
No, yeah.
So I think like they're making it just a Dark Order contract on kayfabe, but if she gets that Dark Order contract, I'm pretty sure she's getting an AEW contract. Which that was a part of the slide there. Tay Conti joins the Dark Order ? I just feel like when they do this kind of stuff, they lose their they really lose their casual fans, because they're gonna be like, what the hell are they talking about? I don't get the lawnmower joke. What was funny though was when Silver went for a high five when Brody was spreading them around, and Brody just moves his arm up and Silver misses it, and he kind of looks like, damn it, like he really thought he was gonna get a high five there. So for the people that do watch BT, there was a lot of Easter eggs in this that made you laugh. But so anything else you guys want to talk about the Dark Order celebration?
The only thing was, are we gonna get to the aftermath of the celebration?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because that's what I was going to talk about. I don't know what the direction is with Brody Lee in the TNT Championship, because as we saw, Dustin Rhodes came out, QT Marshall came out, Scorpio Sky came out, and then the last one to come out was Matt Cardona, and they had this brawl. So originally, and I had threw this idea out there, and because I'm afraid because of trolling why I don't want this to happen. Not that it's not possible it could be a good match, is I was afraid that Matt Cardona would step in and defend his friend's honor. And the reason why I had thought that was because before the championship match last Saturday, Matt Cardona tweeted, "I'm watching." So I thought that was like a subtle hint, and I kind of put two and two together. And obviously he came out, but then what didn't make sense was Scorpio Sky coming out, because I was like, well, why is Scorpio Sky here? Like, he's really not a friend of Cody, as we've seen in the past of, there could be other people that could be a friend of Cody. So now I'm thinking is like, well, is there going to be like some 10 man? You completely threw me off on that. I'm sorry. a 10 man multi-tag match at All Out, where we see whether it's like I'm wondering if they're going to try to do blood and guts or just a cage match or something crazy to have all 10 man. But as came out yesterday, it was announced that Cody Rhodes is going to be out for a period of time because he's going to be filming a show with Stephen Amell for the Stars Network. So with All Out being literally, now we're at 7 days away, 7 or 8 days away.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the direction for All Out for the Brody Lee and the TNT Championship? That's the part that's kind of confusing me.
Yeah.
Because unlike the other show, you got to sell pay-per-views. Like, you're not selling a network subscription, so you can post matches a week before. Like right now, we finally got 3 matches, but we really need to know what's going on with this TNT title and Brody Lee.
Yeah, no, totally agree with that. It was kind of sloppy. I didn't know, we can say the obvious that it is Matt, you know what I mean? Like, it could possibly be him, but I would prefer something more entertaining, like how you said. I would totally love that. It'd be more unexpected and not as, what we all think would happen.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be surprised, even if the outcome is still the same, at least, suspension of disbelief. So I would go with that.
Yeah, and shout out to Julio. The Matt Cardona shirt that he had on was actually designed by him.
Yeah. Go cop that. Matt, and was it Matt and Cody?
Yeah. 1 second, my mouth.
The Sweet Life of Matt and Cody.
Yep. Shout out to Julio.
You guys go ahead. My mouse just died. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then, does this lead up to just Sammy coming out afterwards?
No,
we had the women's.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was 3 minutes. I blinked and I forgot. Yeah. That shirt though, right? But yeah,
you have a fan, Maria.
Yeah, I don't even know. Hey. Response. Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, we get. How much time do we have left in this episode? Because
let's just speed through it. Let's give it the 3 minutes it deserves. Not even. Okay.
But here's my thing. A round table. So we'll talk about it in the round table coming up.
We won't even. The fact is that we have a round table coming up with a group of our friends that are going to talk everything AEW, have to do with the women's division. We're going to talk about All In, our predictions. We'll go into a little more in depth into what we are leading into, which is the 1 year of Dynamite coming up pretty soon. So we'll get into that. But this match was haphazardly. It was messy. It was just all over the place. It didn't really need to be done. I felt like Swole could have just had a match.
Yep.
Like, you could have just done a damn match. Like, is it that hard to give us an actual women's match that isn't filled with all these weird twists and plot holes and something that we haven't been seeing every single week for since the pandemic started?
Yep.
I feel like
Penelope was the number one contender, and this just made her look super weak. She couldn't even win.
She could have just fought Swole.
Yep.
And then Rebel could have just gone in and got helped her get disqualified or something.
Yep.
So Penelope wanted to take the loss. Like, it wasn't that hard to make this match actually decent. You didn't need Britt again out there doing all that. I get it. I know everybody likes it. It's just Swole, yeah.
Let me back up real quick because this match was completely unnecessary. So didn't Swole wrestle Rebel or Reba?
Yes.
And wasn't that to get to a match with Britt Baker?
Yes.
Yep.
So why is it that we had that match to get to a match with Britt Baker, and then we had this match to get to a match with Britt Baker?
Because they don't decide to use any other wrestlers on the AEW roster.
So with that being said, this match is just one word, was unnecessary.
Yep. Here's the thing that's going on with the women's division, and I don't have actual clarification from it, but I've heard it from multiple sources. So what we have with the women's division is we have three people.
You shouldn't even talk about this now. Talk about it at the round table. Don't even.
All right. Well, I'll just tease it. I'm going to tease it. Guys, tune in to our roundtable this weekend where I will reveal inside sources of what's going on with the women's division.
Is it from 3 people, right?
Yeah.
Somebody miscounted what?
Somebody miscounted the weeks. Yeah, they lost track of what they were doing, and that's what happens with this women's division. And we will get into it in the roundtable. We will dive deep into the women's division and AEW's handling of it or mishandling.
And remember, everybody out there, we're not bashing or anything. We love the women that are in the women's division for AEW. We just want to see them more. We want to see them develop, come into their own characters. Whatever, AJ Styles, get off my screen. But no, it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't want I just don't want people thinking we're coming at the women again. I hate you so much. That Kenny picture.
Oh, we coming.
Let me put it this way, because I'm new to this and I've said some things I haven't said before. I love women's wrestling. Like, women's wrestling for me, especially in the last 2 years, has been some of my favorite matches in all of professional wrestling in general. I love Britt Baker. I love Swole. I love Nyla Rose. I love Sheeta. I love Thunder Rosa. Like, I love women's wrestling. People criticizing it, like, this is what I call constructive criticism. That's different between blasting it. What people like us want is we want to see improvements because the talent deserves better. And I know, I don't want to defend, they're grown people, they're grown women, they could do what they want. But for me to enjoy this product, if you're going to have women's wrestling, please do it well. And I'll save the rest of my comments about like why they need to be doing well now and how it's not. Let's not compare it to other organizations because it's a different point. We'll say that for Saturday.
Yeah, that's fine. Agree with that.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the main event. Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara on a table match. I think from what we saw in some of the skits in BTE, if Sammy Guevara lost this match, he was going to get fired, right? But they never really said it during the Dynamite.
They like teased it, like Matt and stuff like that, and Nick, and then they teased like which one should we fire, and they're like, you talking about Sammy or Matt? And it was like one of those dumb things, but like as we all know, Matt's like really broken this time. He's like legit broken. He's a real toy that is broken. So I don't know. He might come out something different. I don't know. He might come out all types of dumb. I don't know. Like I like Matt Hardy. I like what he's building up to. And this is somebody that actually like Jeff Hardy out of the two more growing up. I actually feel like I missed out on a lot what Matt Hardy was doing because of those reasons. And I want to give him more credit now because creatively he's actually pretty ingenious. I like the stuff he does. And I like the bits in BTE. But I don't know. I don't know where Sammy goes after this. I don't know if they're going to continue this storyline. I feels like it's not really over, because we get a interruption from Orange coming out, which is the whole Jericho thing. But I just feel like this is not the best friends inner circle. Still feels like it's not over. Thoughts, JR?
I think it was rushed. I think it seemed like they had like a 5 or 10 minute main event spot. And so they did. I mean, it was very chaotic. It was carnage. It was evil intentions. They were trying to, destroy each other. It seemed like a lot, but at the same time, it seemed at the end, it was like kind of clunky.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, it just felt like, I think it's over. This battle between Sammy and Matt Hardy. I think Sammy got the better of Matt Hardy. I don't see a follow up to this between these two, which is sad because it's just the way it ended just was weird. Like I don't know, like Matt Hardy was gonna put him through a table, but then somehow he seemed like he was like discombobulated and he was losing his senses, and that's how he got put through the table, which was also the other thing I didn't understand is why are we putting a chair underneath the table? Like that just seemed unnecessary. Like that could legitimately hurt somebody. Yeah. It's already bad enough they're going through a table, but now we're gonna put this chair. So that to me seemed unnecessary and reckless. Seeing it at home, I legit was a little bit scared that how that was gonna play out. It just the whole thing. I mean, I was excited for this match, and it sounded like it ended like
Yeah, it didn't get climatic. It was very anticlimactic. It didn't feel like it reached that point where you're like, oh, this is going to be that match. Like I really thought for the first tables match, because they were pushing it as that, right? First,
I think this was AEW's first table match. We could be wrong.
Yeah, because it was under promotion, and I just felt like it felt just a little short. And I don't think it's because of Sammy or Matt, like you said, Jared. I think it is because of time. I felt rushed.
Yeah. I think what's going on with AEW is that they're putting so much attention to their tag teams that they are now not really treating their singles division as that important. We had a lot of tag team matches today, and I think that we could have done without some of them, so that this match could have had the time for it to actually do some storytelling inside the ring. I mean, this was Matt Hardy coming after Sammy for blood, and like you guys said, it was just rushed. I don't think we ever got to a point where, there was actual cohesion. There wasn't actual anything really going on other than Sammy was bleeding, and then the next thing we know, like they're trying to put in tables. There's a table that says deletion, and I know Jericho was trying really hard to sell this match, but it just never really got. It never gelled.
Yeah. I mean, that's about it then, right? And then we have Orange come out, but...
Yep. Orange Cassidy comes out and attacks Jericho.
I felt like some of these things could have just been done next week. I feel like, once again, like how what Ben said there, right? It feels like they miscounted their weeks. It feels like these were just little things that they could have done leading into All Out.
Yeah.
It's weird. It was just I think it had a good beginning. I think it had, a decent to good ending. It had a very clunky middle. And you're 100% right, Jack, when you said about the focus on tag team. They do have the best tag team division, I think, in all of wrestling, and I see that. But they put so much, and it was funny. Like today, we were doing the I was doing my predictions with Kyle with
Beth is right.
WrestleJoy. We were doing the predictions with Kyle for WrestleJoy for AEW, and then I already had sent it to him last night. Well, this morning I get an alert saying, "Oh, by the way, they just dropped the 8-man tag," and it was just like, why? Like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, did we really need that?
No, I instead of having that match, they could have just had Eddie Kingston come out with the 4 guys and cut the same promo that he did at the end. You didn't have to put Griff Garrison and Pillman and Sonny and Joey. You didn't have to have them lose an unnecessary match just so that they could cut that promo at the end, you know. And
Too many toys that need time. Too many toys that need time is what it seems like sometimes.
Yeah. And the thing with AEW, like when you brought up that Tony says he wants to sign more talent, they do need to sign talent, but not more male talent. I think their male division is so stacked, like you said, they just don't have enough time for them. On the other hand, the women's division needs more talent because we're getting the same people over and over. Like we're getting Penelope, Nyla, Sheeta, Britt Baker, and Swole. Those are it just keeps going round and around with them. So,
yeah. But one more week to All Out, so we will be back.
Yeah, I don't know about NBA rescheduling, but
it's
we'll
entirely
find out.
possible. So what it is today they did not have their games either. So the goal is, from my understanding that I've read, and I don't really watch basketball, but beginning Saturday they're supposed to pick back up their playoff schedule. So it's entirely possible that things get moved, shift back. Only time will tell. My assumption would be by Sunday we should know if there is going to be some sort of issue with AEW being preempted on TNT.
And that could have been why they tried to squeeze so much in today.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But we'll be back tomorrow with our weekly recap, our new weekly recap of things that are going on WWE. Back here on Saturday for our AEW Roundtable, joined by Jared coming back with us, and we'll have some other guests coming in. And then we'll be back for Payback, right? Sunday.
This was fun. I appreciate you guys inviting me. I'm sorry I had all those connectivity issues. I'll be better next time, I promise.
We're learning as we're going to.
Yeah, this is our 3rd show using this platform. It's super cool. Like I said, it's innovative, and you get to actually see people's response talking back to what we're talking about. And I love that part because you get a bigger perspective. So we'll be going live, guys, for the roundtable too. So it's going to be a longer one. So you guys, if you 7:00 Central Time, if you want to come in and see us talk about all things AEW, we're going to get into the nitty gritty. But once again, constructive. Ooh, Ben. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Jared, for coming out. We'll have you again hopefully very soon.
Thank you for everybody with your comments and interacting with us. It makes this so much more fun. I know sometimes it gets a little distracting. We're going to get way better at being able to read comments and continue the conversations. Like Maria said, this is our 3rd show doing this, so we're only going to get better.
Yeah, so we only did this because everybody has actually been giving it a positive interaction. So thank you for everybody with the new follows, the new retweets, YouTube subscribers, Twitch subscribers. Thank you so much for everybody, whatever platform you're watching on. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben. JR, do you want to plug in anything?
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about anything.
Oh, I mean, there's my Twitter handle, Profit Wrestling. I'm just a huge wrestling fan, and if you follow me, I try to really be positive with everything. I don't like to dwell on the negativity, but at the same time, I just want, especially right now, it's important to have things we enjoy. So when we see things that we just want it to be better. So that's what I try to do with my platform on Twitter. I also do some stuff with WrestleJoy.com with my friend Kyle and Amy and Andy and my brother Floyd. I do a podcast with him called Around the Ring, where we recap our top 5 greatest hits of the week from Sunday to Saturday. So this week we'll cover everything from SummerSlam through the shows on Saturday, and then we'll drop it on probably Monday. So that's it. Just love you guys, and just stay positive, stay happy and maintain good thoughts.
Follow him. Good stuff. Positivity guy. Love this dude.
Follow him. Follow WrestleJoy. Find his podcast. Your podcast could be found wherever podcasts are found, right?
Follow our horror podcast.
Oh, to the Trick or Treaters podcast.
Podcast. It's me, JR, and Kyle. We're doing another thing too.
It's awesome. Everybody thinks like I'm good. I follow good people like your lead. So trust me, you don't want me at the helm. We would go into the wall.
Follow Toonheads with Ashley and Eric Wolfgang and myself. We're going to be talking cartoons. There, you guys want to plug in your Trick or Treaters? I'm going to plug in the cartoons podcast.
I need to listen to that. I haven't seen good cartoons in a while. I need to check that out.
Yeah, we were thinking about thinking about horror cartoons, even if they're small clippets back from like the 70s and 80s, like Simpsons Treehouse. So we're gonna maybe do a combined episode. I gotta talk to Kyle about it. But yeah, we definitely gotta hit up Ashley and Eric. Good people too. Surround yourself with good people. Everybody take care. Wash the hands. Stay safe, and we hope to see you guys in a couple of days. Peace out.
Right. Bye.